Get ready to witness the most explosive and jaw-dropping moments in the octagon as we delve into the adrenaline-pumping world of the fastest knockouts in UFC history. From lightning-fast strikes to devastating finishes, this video compilation will leave you on the edge of your seat and begging for more. Don't miss out on this epic countdown of the quickest knockouts that will surely ignite your passion for the sport. So, without further ado, let's get started. Number 10. Ryan Jimmo versus Anthony Petruzzelli, 7 seconds. We begin our countdown with a light heavyweight bout that took place at UFC 149 in 2012. Ryan Jimmo was making his UFC debut against Anthony Petruzzelli, a veteran grappler from Australia. Jimmo wasted no time in establishing his presence, as he landed a devastating right hand that sent Petruzzelli crashing to the mat in just 7 seconds. Jimmo then celebrated his victory with a robotic dance that became his signature move. Jimmo's knockout was the fastest in UFC light heavyweight history and tied for the third fastest overall. Number 9. Leon Edwards versus Seth Bazinsky, 8 seconds. Next, we have a welterweight clash that happened at UFC Fight Night 64 in 2015. Leon Edwards, a rising star from England, faced Seth Bazinsky, a tough veteran from the US. Edwards showed his striking prowess right from the start, as he connected with a left hook that dropped Bazinsky in the first exchange. Edwards followed up with a few hammer fists to seal the deal in just 8 seconds. Edwards' knockout was the fastest in UFC welterweight history, and the second fastest overall. Number 8. Makwan Amirkhani versus Andy Ogle, 8 seconds. Moving on to the featherweight division, we have a fight that took place at UFC on Fox 14 in 2015. Makwan Amirkhani, a Finnish wrestler with a flashy style, faced Andy Ogle, a scrappy fighter from England. Amirkhani surprised everyone with his striking, as he launched a flying knee that caught Ogle off guard. Amirkhani then pounced on Ogle with a flurry of punches that forced the referee to stop the fight in just 8 seconds. Amirkhani's knockout was the fastest in UFC featherweight history, and tied for the second fastest overall. Number 7. Don Frye versus Thomas Ramirez, 8 seconds. Going back to the early days of the UFC, we have a heavyweight bout that happened at UFC 8 in 1996. Don Frye, a former wrestler and boxer, faced Thomas Ramirez, a massive fighter who weighed over 400 pounds. Frye showed no fear as he charged at Ramirez and landed a right hand that knocked him out cold in just 8 seconds. Frye's knockout was the fastest in UFC heavyweight history and tied for the second fastest overall. Number 6. James Irvin versus Houston Alexander, 8 seconds. Staying in the heavyweight division, we have a fight that took place at UFC Fight Night 13 in 2008. James Irvin, a hard-hitting fighter with a reputation for exciting fights, faced Houston Alexander, a knockout artist with a lot of hype. Irvin lived up to his nickname of the Sandman, as he put Alexander to sleep with a Superman punch that landed flush on his chin. Irvin then finished him off with a couple of punches on the ground, ending the fight in just 8 seconds. Irvin's knockout was the fastest in UFC heavyweight history and tied for the second fastest overall. Number 5. Chan Sung Jung versus Mark Homic, 7 seconds. Next, we have a featherweight fight that took place at UFC 140 in 2011. Chan Sung Jung, also known as the Korean Zombie, faced Mark Homic, a former title challenger and a fan favorite. Jung showed his killer instinct as he caught Homic with a right hand that dropped him in the first exchange. Jung then followed up with a few more punches that knocked Homic out in just 7 seconds. Jung's knockout was the fastest in UFC featherweight history and tied for the third fastest overall. Number 4. Todd Duffy versus Tim Hague, 7 seconds. Moving on to the heavyweight division, we have a fight that took place at UFC 102 in 2009. Todd Duffy, a young prospect with a lot of hype, faced Tim Hague, a Canadian fighter with a lot of experience. Duffy showed his power as he landed a left jab that sent Hague to the canvas. Duffy then unleashed a barrage of punches that knocked Hague out in just 7 seconds. Duffy's knockout was the fastest in UFC heavyweight history and tied for the third fastest overall. Number 3, Conor McGregor versus Jose Aldo, UFC 194. 6.5 seconds. The tension leading up to this clash between the charismatic Irishman and the reigning champion was palpable, but the fight itself was shockingly brief. As the referee signaled for the start, McGregor unleashed a lightning-fast left hook that found its mark with pinpoint accuracy, abruptly ending Aldo's lengthy reign as champion. The 6.5-second knockout not only crowned McGregor as the new featherweight king, but also etched his name in MMA lore, solidifying the victory as one of the fastest and most iconic knockouts in UFC history. Number 2, Dwayne Ludwig versus Jonathan Goulet, 6 seconds. Next, we have a welterweight fight that took place at UFC Fight Night 3 in 2006. Dwayne Ludwig, a veteran striker and a fan favorite, faced Jonathan Goulet, a Canadian fighter with a lot of heart. Ludwig showed his speed as he landed a right hand that clipped Goulet's chin as he rushed in. Goulet fell to the ground and Ludwig followed up with a few more punches that ended the fight in just 6 seconds. Ludwig's knockout was the fastest in UFC welterweight history and the second fastest overall. Number 1, Jorge Masvidal versus Ben Askren, 5 seconds. Jorge Masvidal versus Ben Askren was the fastest knockout in UFC history and one of the most memorable moments in MMA history. Masvidal's flying knee was a masterpiece of timing, accuracy, and power, and it earned him the respect and admiration of fans and fighters alike. Masvidal's knockout was the fastest in UFC history and the best of the best. That's it for today's video. We hope you enjoyed this countdown of the fastest knockouts in UFC history. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and leave a comment below. What are some of your favorite knockouts in MMA history? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.